Y'all, today we need to talk about the negativity that has surrounded Wizard101 recently. If you follow other content creators within the community, you've probably seen an insane amount of videos talking about how Wiz isn't casual friendly, Wiz isn't the same as it used to be, Wiz is awful, Wiz is dying, Wiz is on the downhill. And me, I've just been farming gear, I've been doing PvP this week, that's all I've been doing. And yet somehow, even while doing literally nothing, a bunch of people have hurled a lot of accusations at me, basically saying that I'm not negative enough towards KingsIsle. So naturally, I want to get a lot of things off my chest, like a lot. One, you probably will not find a channel that has directed more negative attention towards KingsIsle than this one, the one that you're watching right now. I'm gonna offer some proof because, you know, a lot of people say a lot of things, they don't really offer the proof there. In yesterday's video, where Wizard101 announced some changes to Wallaroo, I still said even though they've done this change, it doesn't take away from the fact that you need raid gear to be competitive in PvP, and that is still a very make or break issue for me right now. 5 days ago, I made a video talking about how their little back and forth with the damage cap has really started to frustrate me and a lot of other players because you don't know what your stats are doing anymore. 6 days ago, I looked at a lot of the feedback that people had been saying and combined that with my experiences doing challenge mode of the nightmare. And I talked about why I think the standard mode is just way too hard. And while I can appreciate that they're experimenting with challenge, standard mode, and difficulty in general, in many ways they missed in terms of making standard mode casual friendly. 13 days ago, I made a video talking about how Wizard101 should compensate people for the inexcusable main storyline glitches that had prevented people from going forward. 3 weeks ago, I believe I used the term stupid to talk about the shield gambit changes that the devs were considering adding. It's now been reverted, thankfully, but this would have broken PvP. Say what you want about me, but don't say that I don't criticize KingsIsle or I don't give them good feedback, because at the end of the day, that's basically all I do. And those videos are just from the past month. If you look at the span of videos that I've made so many videos where I truly believe that I constructively criticize KingsIsle. I don't want to be unfair with my criticisms, but I also want to see the game get better. Now, a lot of what I believe has been happening for the past week or two is not actually that constructive, which is why I haven't taken part. There was a content creator roundtable that happened this week. A lot of people sent a lot of hate my way for not participating. Listen, hoes, I was not invited. Let that be known. I wasn't invited to this thing. So before people use this as evidence that I don't care enough, I can't participate in something that I was not invited to. Why wasn't I invited? I don't really know. Maybe I'm not gonna bother to speculate. Maybe it was intentional, maybe it was honest. I genuinely don't care or know. But a lot of what happened in this roundtable, unfortunately, in my opinion, was just a lot of people were nostalgic about how the game used to be, and there were very few concrete solutions offered. I watched all of it. I did find some of the conversations to be very productive. There's one conversation in particular around packs. People were saying how right now packs are absolutely ridiculous. You can spend so much money on packs and you're never guaranteed to get what you actually want. And they brought up things like other games like Genshin Impact that have this thing where the more packs you buy, the higher the chances that you will get the best item from the pack. And that would be a really cool modern way for KingsIsle to adapt packs into the game in a way that's more friendly towards the consumer. Stuff like that, great. A lot of the stuff that I heard though was not so great. It was very, very wishy-washy, very, very flimsy. The game doesn't feel the same. The game isn't right. The devs aren't listening. It's very easy to say stuff like that, but offering proof and also saying when they've actually made good changes, that needs to be a part of the convo for it to be a productive one. And I'll say this, and this is just something I feel honestly, if I'm gonna get hate for this, whatever, I guess, you know, I'll just say how I feel. I think Wiz has a gigantic issue with a lot of people that have either stopped playing the game or they don't play it as much due to reasons outside of the game, and yet they can't stop saying negative things about it, how bad the game's gone. People that don't play anymore say, oh, they yap a lot. And on the same side of the coin, there's a lot of people that feel disenchanted with the way the game has gone, especially recently, and it's at odds with the nostalgia that they have connected to the game. And instead of maybe working through those feelings and figuring out what you actually don't like, I feel like a lot of people, they try to just validate the way they're feeling by just convincing everyone else the game is awful. You're made to feel like you're an other because you like the game that you play, or you can see things that are actually, you know, redeeming about it. And I find that approach absolutely awful because genuinely it feels like people just want their own negativity towards Wiz to be validated, so they need others to agree with them. Obviously, this isn't like, you know, the nature of everybody that criticizes Wiz, but I've noticed that happens a lot, right? A lot of the times, it's not really any concrete reason. Sometimes you just have a falling out. But the second you have a falling out with this game, it doesn't mean that everyone else needs to agree with you, nor does it mean that people that find ways to still enjoy this game are wrong in any way. Like, I feel like people are really shamed for just liking the game. Like, I obviously go back and forth a lot, especially when I'm like PvPing, but the base of it is I'm playing this because I genuinely do enjoy it in the long term. Otherwise, I would have quit by now. I think a big part of what's missing is that when people have an issue with the game, they act like the devs are some kind of like, I don't know, fantastical creatures of the night that, like, you know, operate in the realm of evil. Like, they're just people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I've heard so many accusations like the devs aren't passionate about the game. They don't even like the game that they work for. And I'm sure not everybody that works at Wiz probably is in love with Wiz, but I don't think they would actively choose to stay there if they didn't feel some sort of passion about the game. When you start calling into question things like that that are not even able to be argued, right? Like how others feel about a game that you play, like you can't argue that. You're not in their heads. You start using arguments like that, what that really creates is a gigantic disconnect between the devs and players. It's just spreading this idea for no reason and with no real like proof or validity that it's a lost cause for players and devs to be on the same team, and I don't believe that. I'm not gonna be here and telling you that you don't have a voice that can reach the devs and incite change into this game. That seems to be what a lot of people are saying and doing. That's just not true. You have an example as recently as this week where a lot of people said standard mode is hard. They put out an announcement nerfing standard mode. This is like probably the quickest response time I've ever seen when it comes to things that aren't even glitched, like things that they voluntarily changed because of feedback from the community. I think small victories like that, we have to be better at celebrating them, because otherwise it really is gonna look like only bad updates come out of Wiz. Do I think the game is perfect? Obviously not. I don't want to make this video like a call out on every content creator that there is that, like, you know, gave negative feedback. We all have our own ways of giving feedback. I just actually genuinely disagree with some people's approach, not everybody's, obviously. And I do think when we make arguments, I really do think more people would be better off looking at where the devs come from, where players that disagree with you come from. If we're not operating like an actual team cohesively, then yeah, obviously it is gonna be kind of like, you know, just complaining for the sake of complaining. That's what a lot of people are saying that a lot of this stuff has been recently. That's just my 2 cents on this. I really don't know why I receive so much hate for sometimes doing nothing, like genuinely, like nothing that I could have done would have changed. Like, you know, I'm doing what I've always been doing, and yet a lot of people have been coming at my ass. You can come at your boy all you want, my mans, but let the truth be heard. I'm doing things in the way that I think are productive, and I also am not going to take part in things that I find unproductive. As always, I look forward to reading all of y'all's opinions. Obviously, you know, I'm sure tons of people will disagree with me. I don't mind that. As long as, you know, we're respectful of the comments, I'm okay with. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.